Hello, welcome to today's immigration tidbit. When you are an immigrant to the U.S., there are certain constitutional guarantees you immediately get. A lot of people think and argue because you're not a resident or you're not a U.S. citizen, you're not entitled to any protections under the Constitution, and that is just not the case. Once you enter into the United States, you essentially immediately are under a protection of the U.S. Constitution. So, for example, let's say you're coming from El Salvador and you get into the United States on, claiming asylum for persecution. You are certainly entitled to First Amendment protection, which is the right of speech, free speech, freedom of religion, things like that. You are also entitled, for example, to Fourth Amendment protection. So if you happen to be living in a house waiting for your asylum hearing, the government is not going to just barge into your residence and attempt to make you say things, do things, or to do a search of your premises without the proper warrant and the proper authorization from the government. So you can see that in fact you are entitled to constitutional protections even though you are not a resident and not a citizen. And even if you are here illegally and have not applied for any relief whatsoever, you're still entitled to constitutional guarantees. So again, given that same example, they can't just barge into your house and do a search without a search warrant, even if your status is unlawful in the U.S. To get a search warrant doesn't require that they prove you're a U.S. citizen or that they prove that you're here legally on a non-immigrant visa. There, of course, is reasons for this. What kind of country would we be if we would first determine the immigration status of a person, and then once that status was determined, if that person was here unlawfully or not a U.S. citizen or resident or didn't hold any visa, that the U.S. government was allowed to immediately go and void all constitutional protections. Now, keep in mind, this is different, for example, than an ICE raid, where, for example, they know there's a bunch of people hiding from the law in there, and they get the proper authorization to go and then take the people and put them in removal proceedings. There, of course, is a difference there. However, don't think just because you don't have legal status or are not a U.S. citizen that you are not entitled to any constitutional protection and guarantees afforded by the U.S. Constitution. Okay.